Hello, and welcome to what could be the very first video for the Sasquatch Grill. My name is Justin, and I am the Sasquatch Grill. Well, we're in Las Vegas. It's August, and it's going to be 111 or 12 degrees today. Oh my goodness. So when I'm thinking of summertime, obviously hot weather because we live in Las Vegas, but also cooking out, man. Like, I love grilling, and I'm sure most of you do too. When I think of summertime, I think of burgers, hot dogs, and I also think of brats. I love a good brat. I don't know about you, but man, bratwurst on a hot summer day and a cold beer, I don't know if it gets much better than that. So today we're gonna go shopping. We need to get some stuff to make bratwurst, mostly just some pork butt. I'm gonna show you what I look for when I go to the store. Look for a good pork butt, and then we're gonna go home and we are gonna make fresh bratwurst. Let's go get some meat and get out of this heat. I believe we have a winner. Look at that. They want, let's see here, 248 a pound, 11 pounds for $27. That's a really good price, I think. So we're gonna go with this one. Now, when I'm looking for meat, obviously you're trying to get, if you're making sausage, you know, if you find a bigger one, that's great. But this one has really good, you see all this fat running in through here and a lot of meat. That's what you want to see. It's a nice fat cap on the back, a little bit of a, you know, place there where someone got a little too aggressive maybe with trimming it, but overall, all these veins of fat, this is going to make some really good sausage and some really good pulled pork. So this is what you want to look for with something that's got good marbling in it. You don't want too much lean, you don't want too much fat. You all know that fat is flavor. So we're gonna take this one home, make some bratwurst. Okay, it's a couple days later, and we need to break down this pork shoulder into about 1-inch cubes for my meat grinder. If you remember, this is a little over 11 pounds. I'm only making a 5-pound batch today, so I'm just gonna start slicing this into pork steaks essentially, and then from there we'll work it down into manageable cubes for my number 8 slicer. And then the rest we will package up into 1-pound vacuum sealed things for another day, which is the great thing about when you buy a big one, because you can do that. You can cube them up all at once, put them in a 1 pound, 2 pound, however you want to do it. Vacuum seal bags, put them in the freezer, and now you've got pork for whenever you feel like making sausage down the road. This is a bone-in. The shoulder blade is right here. You can buy boneless. I've seen them at Costco a lot, but you're going to pay more. You're paying someone to take that bone out for you. So most of the time when you get them from the grocery store, this is how they're going to come with the bone in. So I am going to break this down in, for 5 pounds, and then we'll get going. While we're doing this, I did want to take just an opportunity to talk about safety when it comes to working with raw meat. The first thing I did this morning was to prep the surface. I just got a warm washcloth, and I just kind of scrubbed down the table here just to kind of get rid of any kind of, you know, dried food. I have kids, so if you have kids, you know what I mean by just, you know, things kind of being a little messy here and there. But the next thing I did is I have the stuff from Purell. I will put a link below to it. I use this stuff a lot. It's just kind of a food surface prep. I use it before and after I do this. It's just really good to help kind of keep E. coli and all those nasty things that can get you sick from raw meat. So I use that. It works really well. Use it as directed. There's instructions on the back of it, but I like it a lot. It's worked really well for me. So we're almost there at 2 pounds. I'm going to save some of these fattier pieces on the fat cap off to the side for a minute. We're kind of looking for a ratio of 80-20 for this batch. A little higher than that is fine, but fat is flavor. So you want to make sure that you got 80% lean to 20% fat. And just by looking at sometimes, I know if my batch is running a little lean or a little fatty. So that's why I save it off to the side. If I need to chip in a few extra pieces of fat, I will. You can see here, pretty good generous fat cap on this. So we'll put that off to the side. All right, we're at just over 3 pounds and 4 ounces. So we still got some more to go here. All right, I'm gonna chip in one of these bigger pieces of fat. These are also really good to start off your grind. Well, I'm gonna put these off to the side of my little tray here. These are really good to start off grinding. You put some almost pure fat in there, and that kind of helps lube up the sausage grinder. Kind of put some fat in there, and that will kind of help the rest of the stuff behind it get through a little easier, I have found. So I'll put it off to the side. I'll put that through first when I go to grind. Let's see, we're sitting at 4 pounds, 14 ounces. This might help round it out to 5. 415, 415.9. 5 pounds on the button. All right, let me put this off to the side and I'll be right back. Okay, we've got all of the pork butt that we need, 5 pounds in this little container. This is just a half size steam pan. They come in real handy when you're doing this. And we'll put this right next to my grinder on the top shelf in my freezer here. And we'll have that sitting there until the internal temperature of the meat is below 36 degrees. And I'll go over why that's important in a little bit. Okay, so the casings that we're going to use today, I picked these up from the sausage maker. These are natural hog casings, 32 to 35 millimeter, so 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches around, and that's a great size for bratwurst. That's pretty much what you would see normally at a grocery store. These might be a little bit bigger than the ones in a grocery store, but these will do just a great job for that. So the first thing we need to do is get them out of the package here. So we're going to open this up. And usually, much I hate it when this happens. Try to open these things and this stuff never works. There it is. So we'll open them up here. Let's get a couple out. You can see here, they're all packed in salt, which is how they're going to come. This helps preserve them from the factory. So you can see they're big, they've been kind of knotted here just to kind of help for packaging and stuff. So you just need to, you know, undo the knot essentially. Okay, so you can see that they're all packed in salt. Like I said, this is to help preserve everything. And we just need to try and find 1 or 2 long ones. Undo this knot here. Man, someone really had a good time at the factory with these. There's knots everywhere in these things. The struggle of the sausage maker is real, folks. Let me get this over here. You can see here, there's just a huge knot down here. Hopefully you can see this on camera. Just need to back this guy out. Holy cow. So we're going to just put a couple of these into a nice bowl of lukewarm water. We need to do this to rehydrate them. We also need to get all the salt off of these things, you know. There's already enough salt in these bratwursts that we're going to make today. We don't need any more. So let's find a couple of strands here, and we'll just dunk them in some hot water just to get the rehydration going on, get the salt off, wake them up a little bit, make them more pliable. So we've got our hog casings and some lukewarm water here. Just gonna try and mix them up a little bit just to try and get a lot of the salt off of there, wake them up. Like I said, these need to get a bit more pliable. So we're gonna let them sit for a little bit. After this, we'll rinse, we'll put them more in some more warm water, and we'll do that once or twice just to get all the stuff out of here. After this time, I'm gonna throw a little bit of baking soda in here, which will help them stay, it helps them untangle a little bit, and it helps them go on the feed horn when we're ready to stuff here in a little bit. So that's a little trick from Two Guys in the Cooler, Eric over on Two Guys in the Cooler on YouTube. Really knows how to make a good sausage, so I recommend him if you guys are just starting to get into this game a little bit. Lots of helpful tips and tricks over there, including this one. Next step is we need to go over our seasoning and spices for the bratwurst. And here's what I have chosen today. Nothing too crazy. I think these are all pretty normal, I guess you'd call it, spices and seasonings for bratwurst. At least the one that I'm making. So we'll start out first with 36 grams of salt. Next is 13 grams of dextrose. Next, 7 grams white pepper. Coriander, 2 grams. Nutmeg, we're looking at almost 7 grams. Marjoram at 2 grams. Caraway, 2 grams. Ginger at 2 grams. And finally, celery seed, 2 grams. Get this all mixed up. And we'll put this off to the side until we are ready to mix this with the meat. Now we get to one of the fun parts here. We got to grind our pork to get it ready for bratwurst. So I'm going to run this first through 10mm plate, it's coarse ground, and then we run it again through a number 7, a 7mm plate. We just need to load up the hopper here. Remember, we had saved some pieces that have a lot of fat in them, so I'm going to drop those in there, so that's ready to go. Help keep everything nice internally lubed up and happy. This meat, I just checked it, we're sitting somewhere between 34 and 30 degrees, depending if it was on the top or the bottom of this pan. Just gotta fill it all up and then go from there. Yeah, this stuff is super cold, which is what you need. And I kind of hinted that earlier about making sure this meat is cold. Why that is so important is if your meat is not cold when it goes through here, your fat's going to smear and your sausage is not going to turn out very good. It's going to be crumbly, could be dry. So super important that meat stays super cold throughout this process. All right, pretty much all fits in there. Like it was designed for a 5-pound batch. So we'll put this off to the side. Got a clean, just a hotel pan here to help put all this stuff in. And I got my plunger in case I need it. I don't think I'm gonna need it. Usually when it's in a form like this, you don't need it. So we'll turn it on. You hear it kick on there. And then boom, look at that. Starts coming through right away. All that fat coming out. Now we'll start dropping some more lean in there. This is a number 8 grinder that I picked up from my local Bass Pro Shop. This is, if you really get into this and do this a lot, I really recommend getting something other than like a KitchenAid attachment. And that's where I started. I had started with one of those, but when you start doing these bigger batches, you start doing this a lot. And those KitchenAid ones, they just can't keep up. They're really designed for just small batches. Even though a 5-pound batch really isn't that big, trying to run 5 pounds of pork through a KitchenAid mixer or a KitchenAid accessory meat grinder, it's not gonna work. So this number 8 grinders make very short work of this, as you can see. Get a couple extra pieces down there. You can see here it's nice and pebbly, nice and cold, no fat smear. Looks perfect. This is how it should look coming out. I'm gonna switch out our cutting die, essentially, are going from, like I said, this is the 10 millimeter, and now we're going to go down to a 7, which is gonna just kind of help break up, even more evenly distribute the fat and the lean a little bit, and just give it just a little tighter bind. I'm not gonna go down to, I think I got like a 3. Let's see here. My smallest is a 4.5 millimeter. So we're not gonna use that. We'll just use the number 10, and then this is a number 7. All right, let's put this here. Probably gonna need this guy to help stuff some of this stuff through. I'm just gonna load up a couple handfuls here. Load up the topper. And this stuff is still super, super cold, which is what you want. Like I said, this stuff has you gotta keep your mints below 34. Well, I'd say below 36. But the colder the better. You don't wanna, if at all possible, you don't wanna try and jam like this plunger down there too hard. You'll heat everything up. And I had shown you before that I kept everything I could in the freezer, all the components that come apart off of this meat grinder, to keep everything nice and cold. Again, to keep that fat from smearing. You don't want that. All right, you can see here that is a really good grind right there. Look at that come out there. Nice, evenly distributed. It's not super small, so we'll get a nice bite tomorrow when we eat these for dinner. Like I said, if you can at all avoid it, trying to ram this stuff down there as much as possible. I'm just trying to do a nice, gentle push, just to kind of help keep everything flowing here. You can heat this stuff up by pushing it in there, and you can actually gum this thing up pretty good, to the point where you'll have to turn it off, turn it back on, in order to get to grind. There we go. I'm starting to get some really good grind here. I'm really liking the way this is looking. Man, this is gonna make some really good bratwurst tomorrow. I just know it. I can feel it in my bones. Tomorrow night's dinner is gonna be really good. Hope everyone's hungry. One thing you can do to kind of help clear this thing out is just some crushed ice. My refrigerator has a crushed ice option, just a little bit there. And look, you can see, boom. Now that's not gonna hurt anything because we're gonna be adding water to this anyway in the next step when we throw all the seasonings in. But man, that looks really good. Super cold, nice and pebbly, good fat and meat, fat and lean distribution. This is what you wanna see. So I'm gonna go pop this back in the freezer to keep this cold. Going to disassemble this and get this in the sink, and then next time you see me, we'll be ready to add the water, add the seasoning, we'll mix this by hand, and then we'll get stuffing. Okay, we have reached the mixing point of the stage to make bratwurst. So we have our double ground pork, fresh out of the freezer, just check the temperature. We're sitting around 34 degrees, which is really, really good. Next, we are going to throw in, we have our spices. We're gonna throw a little cheese in this batch. The fiance wants cheese brats. And for that, I am using, from the sausage maker, high temp cheddar cheese. They come in 1 pound bags. Essentially, the rate of inclusion for this one is 1 pound for 10 pounds of meat. So we would use half a pound. I'm using slightly less than half a pound, using about 6 ounces for this batch of 5 pounds of bratwurst. So first things first, let's get our seasoning all dropped in. Next, water. We've got about 60 or so grams of water, cold water. You want to keep this cold. That should be enough to get this batch done. Instead of water, you can actually use beer, make a beer brat. More on that later, but right now we're just going to use water since we are going to cook these in beer tomorrow. Dump all that in. And now we just need to get kind of messy here. So it's going to start getting our fingers in there and just start mixing this around. Okay, let's see how we're doing here with our protein extraction. Okay, we're right there. Sticking in my hands, we're right there. Okay, next thing, let's get this cheese in here. And just dump it all in. And let's mix it around to get this cheese. And we want to do this stuff last. You don't want to break up your cheese too much. It's already been diced to 1/4 inch, which is perfect size to go through a stuffer. Not too big, not too tiny, so that when you bite into it, you get a little cheese in every bite. Now, you could just take cheddar cheese and cube it up, but what you're gonna get is a lot of it to melt inside the brat. And some people like that and some people don't. So I'm gonna try this and see how this works. I might, next time I do this, I might throw a little, just get a block of Tillamook and cube it up and throw it in there and see how that holds. Okay, well, this is looking pretty darn good. Yeah, this is looking pretty darn good. Nice and tacky. Cheese is pretty much evenly distributed. It looks pretty good to me. Man, it's cold. That's what you want. It's nice and cold. For the next process of stuffing. So, okay. Looking pretty good. I'm gonna change gloves and we'll get stuffing. Okay, sorry about that. My GoPro overheated. I have not seen that before. I've used this thing outside in Las Vegas and that's never happened before. So, you know, it's the first time for everything. Okay, we're gonna tie a simple knot down here. Roll this guy back and let's see how this goes. I might need the stand to, I'm gonna stand to do this. I just know this is not gonna work sitting. So let's see how we do here. Yeah, so far it's coming off the horn pretty good there, have to say. We are just going to make just one big link, and then we'll come back later and we will make 6-inch links out of all these ropes. A foot pedal would really be handy right now, electric one of these things. Trying to do this by yourself. I don't have a lot of experience doing this yet. This is only the second time I've made bratwurst. The first time it went over really, really well. Everyone liked them. And I have not made them this summer yet, so I figured it's August. We got football starting up. Can't believe football season's back, but I'm happy because being a Midwest guy, football, especially me being from Ohio, is super, super big. Okay. There's the first one. Let's move this stuff out of the way here. There we go. Put this guy on the sheet, and we'll come back and we will link that later into more smaller bratwurst. What size of bratwurst do you normally eat? Are you like a 6 to 7 inch? Do you like smaller? Do you like them bigger? What do you like? I'm on the 6 to 7 inch camp myself. I think those are a great size. They go easy on a bun. Okay. All right, come on. There you go. Yeah, I can see that cheese in there and some of my spices. So far, sausage maker, you guys are getting the job done. I really enjoy these casings. These are, as soon as I start saying something, I popped one. So let me deal with this real fast here. All I'm going to do is just push it forward, push it past the tear. A pair of scissors real fast. Right there. Put this over to the side. We'll deal with that in a minute. Oh, broke another one. You can start to hear some air coming out now. And that happens even though, you saw me push it down a bunch of times. It's never perfect, Air is going to find a way to do what air wants to do. Oh boy, I might have just perfectly timed this out here. We'll see. I'm getting down to the nitty gritty. Oh, that's it. Awesome. Well, I had enough casings, and what I've got between what's left in the feed horn and a little bit that is left in the bottom of here in the feed horn, plus these two, I can make some brat patties. I'm gonna wash this real fast and throw this mince back in there. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Time to make some links here. Got this big ruler. I don't have a ton of experience doing this, as I've said before. So as I get more used to this, I'm sure when I've done this enough times, I'll just know by sight and feel what 6, 7 inches is. But for right now, we're just going to use this big ruler. So I got this out. This is about 15 inches. So we're going to split this one in half. Go about the 7-inch mark. Just make a little indentation, just like that. I'm just going to give it a little twist, and of course, it popped. Just work this down a little bit here, and just burst that one again. Gosh darn it. Yeah, there's another split right there. Okay, well, some context here. I completely overstuffed these casings by quite a bit. I was using the 7/8 horn, and I should have been using the 5/8 horn. But every time I would go to try and twist, it would rupture. It just completely overfilled. So my bad. I'm learning as I go. It's only the second time I've done bratwursts, from scratch. I've done a few other things with casings, some ring bologna, some kielbasa. So not completely new at this, but I'm still learning. It's not easy trying to get, raw meat into a hog intestine, essentially. So I moved down to the 5/8 horn, so the smallest horn I have from my stuffer. And then I asked a friend to help run the crank, essentially, so I could just focus on getting the meat into the casing. And you'll see here it goes much easier. About 7 inches or so. We'll give it a little pinch, and then we'll give her a little twist. And again, about 7 inches, give it a little twist. Oh man, this is going so much easier. Man, I feel a lot better about this. That's pretty much it for today. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one burst. This one burst here at the back. But again, still learning, not a huge deal. We've got a couple in the refrigerator, so we have enough. We definitely have enough. I don't have enough now for patties anymore. There's not enough in this tube or in this thing to really save to make patties with. So we're not going to do that. So anyway, that wraps up for today. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll show you how we snip these things. We'll get them pan fried, and we'll get them in the crock pot, and then I'll show you what they look like when we eat them, and we'll do a little taste test on camera, and that'll be it. Thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow. Well, it's the next day, and we're gonna cook these bratwursts up today. What I got here is just a little bit of oil and some garlic, and we're going to put these bratwursts in here and get them kind of brown, and then they're gonna go into a beer bath. These bratwursts really look good. I'm really happy with the color on these. Everything looks really, 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 really good. Let's go ahead and let's check on these, see how we're doing. We're getting there. It's a nice brown color on the bottom of those. We're gonna flip that one. I said we don't want to totally cook them. We just want to brown the sides a little bit with some of this oil and garlic. That one still needs a little bit of time. We'll put that one over here. Get some more heat in that bad boy. I'm gonna transfer into the crock pot. These guys buried in there. All we have in the crock pot is some sauerkraut, garlic, and about, I would say, 20 ounces of beer. And they're going to go in here and they're going to cook for the next 4 hours or so on low. And the next time you see these we'll be eating them. We'll see in a little bit. They have just come out of the crock pot. I wish smell-o-vision was real. The last couple of hours of these brats cooking in a mixture of beer, sauerkraut, onion, and garlic. It's been so good, mouse. Anyway. Super happy the way these things turned out overall. We just finished up, the family and I just finished up dinner. Here's mine. I cut it in half. Just a little bit of Dijon on the top there. I want to taste the meat. I want to taste the cheese. I want to see how these things taste. So I have not loaded up with everything. I'm very curious to see the spice blend, the cooking method, the time, temperature, all that stuff worked out. So here we go. So good. To me, this is what summer tastes like. We had some sweet corn. I had beer. And a brat. Oh, so good. You guys gotta try this. It's so good. Now, the bun, that's kind of the weakling at this point. I wanted better buns. I went to the grocery store this morning and they did not have anything good. I prefer something that's got some, you know, a little more structure to it, I guess is the word I'm looking for. These are potato buns. Not bad, they get the job done, but man, if you're looking to impress people for a cookover or for family night, whatever, and you've got some time to make brats the way I made them in this video, do it. So good. Anyway, I'll eat the rest of this. And just want to say, for anyone who watches this video, thank you so much for supporting my channel and my future business. Really appreciate it. And until next time, everyone be good and go eat something.